Hi guys.
It's been a while. Like, what is this? What is this, baby? What is this?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year 2025. We made it.
It's 2025. I can't believe it.
If you're watching this, we are no longer in 2024.
Yes, thank God.
We're sitting handsome, sitting pretty,
Thank you.
sitting blessed in 2025. So we wanted to take a moment to really just speak into all that's happened, what 2024 was, what 2025 will be, where we are, and some of the things we've learned and what we believe that we're all learning together. So,
what was 2024 for you?
Man, 2024 was a time of development for me.
That's good. Yeah.
I became a student again, a student of
Uh-oh.
life. And I didn't realize how much of me was used to being in the posture of teacher. And so allowing myself to learn new things, to grow, to
That's so
challenge
good.
myself, it was a difficult experience for you. I'm not going to sit here and act like it was smooth. It was a challenge.
I'm not going to act like I didn't cry. I
Like,
didn't cry my way through it.
I was out here in these streets really struggling to let go
But
of...
you did good though. You did good.
I think so. I think overall...
Yeah, I feel like you handled a lot. You had a lot of transitions in 2024, and I feel like you handled it very well. Like some of them were unexpected, and I feel like you did a really good job at pivoting. Like your natural nature is not the kind that enjoys transition or change per se. Yeah, but for someone who was met with a lot of different transitions, like you had transitions in your career, you had transitions in our home, you had transitions in ministry, you had transitions in family, friend, like there were so many transitions that happened. I feel like you
Transitions of looks.
Transitions of looks. Like we got rid of the beard in 2024.
I feel like we grew the beard. Like,
yeah,
a lot happened.
You had a lot happen in 2024, and so as your wife, I'm telling you, I think you did a really great job at handling a lot of the things. And as someone who, like, for as long as I've known you, you've always been in that place of teacher and leader, and so to watch you become a student again, I know it was hard. It's hard that's a hard transition for anyone that's a leader type, right? And so to watch you transition and actually be okay with acknowledging that I'm a student and I'm learning and I'm growing and becoming, it was really beautiful to see. And so congratulations, baby.
Thank you, baby. Thank you, baby.
You're welcome. You did good. You survived.
Thank you.
You survived 2024.
I was happy, but here we are. Thank you, Jesus. What was 2024 for you, baby?
Dear God. 2024 was death, burial, and resurrection, okay? No, 2024, actually, no, it really was that for me. I feel like I had to become a student again in a lot of ways. 2024 was hard for me because I literally made a decision to park everything I was doing.
So a change of pace.
Yeah.
In order to gain new perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always been a doer. I've always been in pursuit of something. I've always been creating something or birthing something. And so 2024 for me was a year of stillness and it was a year of discovery. A year of growth, a year of pruning.
One thing I would say for year 2024 was also a time of release.
Yes.
So there were things that had come into your world that served you in one season and no longer served you in 2024. And so you released it gracefully, but you also made room to birth new things without forcing it, not making it mandatory that it was going to happen. I watched you pick up this space of curating almost like safe spaces and event spaces for others and for different things that we were working on really seamlessly. And that's something that you used to do years ago and you picked it up again. And so really proud of you.
Thank you.
And for all those who know, Soulful Pod took a hiatus because you didn't want to be performative.
No, like that was, I feel like I just got to a space in my life. This 2024, I turned 35. Oh my gosh. So got to a space in my life where I didn't want to do things anymore just because I had the ability to do it. I wanted to do things that I was called to. I wanted to do things that not only was I called to, but that it was time for, right? Just because you can do something doesn't mean it's the time for you to do it. And so I really had to step back from everything and really do a soul search and really sit with God for 2024 and let him walk me through my journey and my path to teach me, basically to let him lead.
Now,
let him
what
lead.
would you say to the person that is being invited to a similar process in terms of pausing and entering stillness? How would you introduce them or describe what that is going to be like?
So a person who's entering that space of stillness.
Yeah, so they're accepting the invitation to be still and to pause.
Well, once you decide that it is time for stillness, I feel like the best thing for you to do is first give yourself the grace to slow down. It is not easy, especially if you're someone who is always on the go or always doing something or in this like place of busyness. And honestly, we all are.
Yeah.
It's not easy to just stop and be still. And so I find for me, my goal this year, I thought that what took me the year to do, I thought that I was going to be able to accomplish it in 1 month.
I think that was probably one of the funnest things for me, just being your person and living with you. I heard you set deadlines for when
and
all the changes were gonna happen.
Yeah.
You're like, so just give me a month, like 3 months, in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You would set these benchmarks of time.
Yeah.
But one thing I really respected about your journey and your processes here is that you were okay with revisiting the timelines. And also, as you started to walk through things and get deeper into the process, you were able to say, okay, I do actually want to explore this. And I recognize that this is going to take a little bit more time.
I think for me, I didn't want to, like I said, I couldn't be performative. I really wanted to do the work. And so I set the benchmark of the month, which is how I started, right? And I got into the month and I realized, oh, wait a minute, there's a deeper place that I need to get to. And because of what my life has become now in terms of like we have a lot going on, right? It wasn't as easy for me to slow down and enter into that space where I felt safe, where I felt like I could start doing the work, start uprooting things, start planting new seeds. It wasn't as easy for me to get into that space now with a new baby. And we travel a lot and work and like all these different things, ministry, right? And so it took me probably about a month or two to actually slow down mentally. Slow all the way down mentally, emotionally, and really set the pace for me to do the work.
Even letting go of the guilt of not being busy.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So if back to your question. So what I would say to a person who is trying to enter into the space of stillness, give yourself grace to slow down, right? And depending on where you are in your journey, it could take a couple days, it could take a couple weeks, it could take a month, it could take a whole year, okay? To really slow down and set a new pace so that you can go through your process, right? A lot of people just jump into their process and then they find themselves like almost like on a hamster wheel. And so they don't realize that you need a moment to pause to get into the pause, if that makes any sense, or to slow down so that you can enter your pause and enter into that space of healing and just resetting. So
that's really good.
Thank you.
That's a little preview of what you'll get with Soul Food Pod and everything else that's happening with the hub. In that posture and understanding of the need for pause, we did something that we have not done in our entire ministry lives. I've been doing something in ministry every year since I was 6. You've been singing and leading and building and supporting something at every point of your life since about 5 or 6 as well. We actually took a pause with this community and decided that we would be intentional about spending quality time with people who are part of this community and develop ourselves even stronger. First individually as a unit, and then also for our family's sake before pouring outward.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that we agreed upon when we started this ministry journey was that we wanted to be a part of the solution. We didn't want to be a part of the problem. It wasn't enough for us to just say, okay, we're building another ministry. There's tons of ministries out there, but we really wanted to be effective at what we do. And so in order to do that, we got to practice what we preach.
That's it.
Right? And we also realized the importance of developing ourselves and also developing relationships as well, right? Because you can build another building, right? But when you're building a community and a people, especially when you are doing it in the way that God is instructing and is leading you, it takes there's more responsibility to actually walk this thing out and actually do the work.
The intentionality,
and so, yeah, right? And so we wanted to be intentional leaders. And so I think 2024 was that year of intentionality for us, and not just pouring out because it's expected of us or because people are looking for that from us, but pouring out because we're full and because we actually have something to pour. And so 2024, I feel like, was that filling our cup year and really establishing vision and figuring out, okay, what do we really want to do? How do we really want to do this thing? What's the most effective way for us to do this thing and not be burning ourselves out or putting ministry and all these other obligations before family and all these different things. We really want to make sure that we're doing this thing the right way. So we did the work.
Yeah, we didn't want to idolize performance, and we didn't want to replicate. We wanted to be original and grounded and rested and give out of an overflow. And so that's really been our heart, and I think we've done a good job of that.
Yeah.
Excited about 2025
Absolutely.
because it's loaded with what we want to pour out into this community and into this space.
So that's what 2024 was for us. Now we know that 2024, we have a visitor, guys, who always gives mommy the finished snacks. Okay. So we've shared with you guys what 2024 was for us. However, we know that 2024 was very different for everybody.
2024 was a time of testing for many people, and it ended up playing out to become almost like a mixed bag prophetically, where there were many great things, many moments of celebration and growth and success, but also really heart-wrenching moments of challenge, difficulty, discouragement, disappointments, sudden changes that have left many in a place of feeling a little bit numb and despondent and nervous as we prepare to really walk out this next year and this next phase of life. Here's the beautiful thing about every new year. Every year represents a chapter. And so when one chapter comes to a close, the good news is that God is always writing a new chapter. And so 2025 is going to be a year of fruitfulness as well as expansion. One thing about fruitfulness is that it takes into account this word of process. You've got seed time and you've got harvest time. And for many, it's the seeds that you've been planting over the last 7 years of your life that you're going to begin to see the fruit of it in your life. And it's going to show up first and foremost in your mood, in your disposition, in the way that you're approaching your perspectives, and even in your outlook. That's going to be the first indicator of the sign of fruitfulness in your life. And God is going to begin to move and build on that to allow us to begin to see that where we have worked hard, where we have toiled, where we've sacrificed, now begins to yield fruit. And so that's what I really believe God is about to do for us here with the Hub. He's going to take us through a time of fruitfulness, but also not just fruit, expansion.
Yes.
It's going to get me in a whole Pentecostal fit. A whole fit, because expansion looks like, well done. Now you have capacity to stretch. You have capacity to take up space. You have the character and the skill set to be trusted with more.
Yeah.
And for all of us, we know that character building feels like being in the gym and doing endless reps and having to challenge yourself to stretch beyond what you thought was possible for you. And depending on your attitude, that is extremely ghetto, or it's exciting. And so expansion is on the way. God's promise to us as a people is that we are going to expand from the left to the right, in front of us and behind us.
Yeah.
And so that's exciting.
I think it's important that we also realize that 2025, I know I might be getting ahead of the conversation, but 2025, the number 5 represents change, right? And so if you have been in this place where you've been waiting, you've been pushing through, you've been enduring, you've been stretched or feeling like you've been going through this stretching or pressing, 2025 is the year that we're really going to see the budding, the reason why.
Yes.
So basically the reason why you had to wait so long, the reason why you had to go through the pressing, the reason why you had to make the sacrifices that you've had to make over these last few years.
There's truly going to be this unveiling.
Yes. And so that's what 2025 represents for a lot of us. And so part of why we had to go, we shared with you guys earlier on in the video that we had to become students again. That was part of our process, right? That was part of the journey that we had to go through to build capacity, to be able to manage the change and the fruits and the gems that are coming in 2025. And so for many of you, very similar situations where you've been pressed, you've been pulled, you've been stretched, your capacity has increased, and you may not even recognize that that's what was happening with you while you were going through your process or while you were navigating through 2024. But there's something that God is doing, because in year 2025, there's a lot of change that's happening, and it's not the kind of change that we've been seeing where it kind of leaves you in this anxious place, but it's the kind of change that brings stability. With there being a level of stability and change that is coming in 2025, we thought that it was important for us to we thought that it was important for us to share some of the gems that we learned through our transition into this season. And so we decided, Sammy had this great idea that we choose themes for the month of the next few months and really teach on things that we've learned based on the themes that we've chosen.
Have conversations.
Yes, have conversations and really share the gems that we learned through this journey that we were walking through in 2024. And so, well, pretty much actually more than 2024, I think, just my whole life. So the theme for this month is, drumroll please, is one of my favorites, transitions. We've said it so many times, I think, throughout this video. But it's one thing to be walking through a transition, it's another thing to walk through it well. And so this month, month of January 2025, we're starting the year off with focusing on transition. I find a lot of people have trouble transitioning from the old into the new. Transition really looks different for everyone. And so we really want to facilitate conversations this month to really help you ease through whatever transition you may be going through. It's not just a matter of, going from 2024 to 2025. Yeah. Maybe you're changing career. Maybe you are maybe you're going through a relational change. Maybe you're going through a physical change. Maybe you're going through a diet change. Maybe you're going through a transition in habits. Whatever your transition is, we really want to just equip you and give you the tools that you need to help you transition well.
And I think one thing that's going to come out of this is both a safe space and language that will help to describe what transition looks like and how transition can happen well.
Yeah.
One thing that my former boss actually said is that you can do good work, but there's a next place to get to where you do good work well. And transition is one of those things that we know we're going to deal with it in some way, but there are practical tools that can help us to do this where we transition well.
Yes.
And so that's the hope. We will see you right in this space, talking more and more about transition. Thank you for transitioning with us into 2025. And once again, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
See you soon.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.